Hey everyone, Math 6 1.6. Today we're talking about least common multiple. Alright, so what is a multiple anyway? Well, let's say I give you this list of numbers here 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, and I said they're multiples. And you would say they're multiples of, and I would say, well, they're multiples of some number, and that number would be what? 3, okay? These are all multiples of 3. Why? Because 3 times 1 is what? 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9, 4, 5. You get the point, okay? So what would the next multiple of 3 be right there? Well, what's the pattern? Multiply by 3, right? So that was multiplied by 9 to get 27. So 3 times 9 is 27. So what's after 9? Using whole numbers? 10. 3 times 10 is 30. So those are multiples of 3. Alright, so you know what multiples are now, so why don't you take a second and I want you to write out the first 9 multiples of 7. Play the video when you're done. Alright, so hopefully you got this. Just like that. There are the multiples of 7. So I wrote 7 colons, that tells me this is the number I'm finding multiples of. And I list them. 7 times 1 is 7, times 2, times 3, times 4, times 5, times 6, times 7, 7 times 8, and 7 times 9. There you go, easy as that. Alright, so what is a least common multiple though? Well, I'll give you a clue. It's a multiple, but if we look back at our other example right here of 7s, what's the least common multiple up there? I'll give you a clue. There is no least common multiple because we're only referencing the number 7. When we talk about least common multiple, we need to reference more than one number, such as 3 and 4. So we're going to find the least common multiple of 3 and 4. So what do we do first? Well, first, before I can find the least common, so common means it's shared, right? I need to find all well, not all the multiples of 3, but quite a few multiples of 3 and quite a few multiples of 4. So I like to set it up like this, and I start listing out the multiples. So 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 4 is 12, 3 times 5 is 15, 3 times 6 is 18, 3 times 7 is 21. And obviously we could keep on going, and if we kept going till we ended, we would never end, right? So let's just stick with 1, 2, 3, how many do I have there? 7 multiples. So let's go to 4, and let's write out 7 multiples of 4, the first 7. So 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, you get the picture here. And in a matter of seconds, you can list out the multiples. So the question is, though, what is the least common? So let's think about, we're going to go in reverse. So we already found the multiples, okay? So now let's talk about what are the common multiples that I see here. So what number shows up in both lists? I'm looking. Oh my goodness. Look, there's a 12 there and a 12 there. Okay, cool. Any other common number? Not yet, right? If we kept going, there would be more common ones, but that's okay, because in the end, we're looking for the least common. So what that means is, what is the smallest multiple of both 3 and 4? And it's 12. So our answer to what is the least common multiple of 3 and 4, it's 12. Alright, so I want you to pause the video, I want you to try this problem, and I want you to play the video when it's done. Let's see how you do. Alright, so I'm hoping you set up with a 4 and a 10 and started listing the multiples. Alright, so I put quite a few multiples out there, but of course I had to stop at some point, right? Because I could have kept going on here to 32 and 36. I could have kept going here to 80 and 90. So I usually do, anywhere between, 5 to 7, maybe 8 multiples, and then I go to the next number. Same thing about 5 to 7, and then I step back and kind of look and say, okay, do I have any common ones? Any common ones? Oh yeah, there's 20 there and there. And is there anything less than 20 that shows up in both lists? 4, 8, 12, 16, 10. No, there's nothing shared between those two lists that's smaller than 20, so guess what? 20 is our least common multiple. Alright, now I will show you this. Again, factor trees, we can use them for a lot of things, so sometimes that's not to our advantage because it's like easy to get things mixed up. So I kind of prefer the listing method for finding multiples than the listing method for finding factors. But if you want to find the least common multiple of something, you can use factor tree. So let's do the same numbers, 4 and 10. We already know the answer is 20, so that's going to help us in our example so we know if we get off. So Do a factor tree for 4. 2 and 2. Circle and circle. You're done. Now, do a factor tree for 10. 2 and 5. Circle it, you're done. Okay, so we only had, 2 prime numbers there and 2 prime numbers there. So what we end up doing is for 4, I'm going to list its multiples, or it's the factors of 4, of 2 times 2. And then for 10, I'm going to list the factors as 2 times 5. And so then what we do is we ask, okay, what factors are present? 2s and 5s, right? Those are the only numbers that appear in any of those trees. And then what I do is I say, okay, let's talk about the 2s first. Which list has more 2s? This one, right? So it has more 2s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by that number of 2s. Okay, so it's 2 times 2. All right, cool. Now what about the 5 though? Okay, well this has a 5. This one has how many 5s? None. So which has more 5s? This one. This bottom list, and how many does it have? It has 1. So we add that 1 multiplied by 5 in there. And then we just go ahead and multiply. 2 times 2 is 4 times 5. 4 times 5 is 20. This is an example of a bad idea. So when your computer crashes, probably shouldn't throw your keyboard through it. So just a little public service announcement there. But let's say you do have an old computer, and while we should be grateful for anything that we have, it's slowing down and it has some problems. So let's say that your computer crashes every 9 minutes and gives you this error message, and your dog barks every 5 minutes. Your computer crashed and your dog barked at 5 o'clock. At what time will both happen at the same time again? So at what time will the dog bark and the computer crash at the same time again? And I used a picture of a boxer here because boxers are my favorite dogs in the world. They're the best. Okay, so let's think about how to approach this. We could approach it kind of the old school way and maybe write out, well, okay, so let's say computer and dog, right? And the computer crashed at 5. And then we could say, well, the computer crashes every 9 minutes, and so then it goes to 5:09, and then 5:18, 5:27, so on and so forth. But that's going to get kind of long and really boring. It might take a while. Same thing with the dog, right? I could say dog barked at 5, okay, but then it barked at 5:05, and then it barked at 5:10, and then 5:15, and so on and so forth. So again, that could take a while. I think there's probably a better way. Instead, I think maybe we can actually use what we learned in the video so far. Oh my gosh, I know, right? Crazy concept. Like, use what we learned. Oh my goodness, use math. So let's think about LCM. Okay, could I find the least common multiple of a couple numbers, and what might those numbers be? Well, let's think. Computer crash at every 9 minutes, and the dog barks every 5. Okay, so let's try this. Let's see what happens. Computer crashes every 9, and the dog barks every 5. So let's find the LCM of 9 and 5. So start listing the multiples of 9. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63. And let's stop there. Maybe we have enough. Maybe not. I don't know. And then go to 5. We say 5, 10, 15, 20. Anything yet? Nope, nothing common yet. 25, 30. Nope. 35, 40. Still nothing common. So maybe our answer is not found this way. Well, look, we got to persist here, because if we go one more, guess what? I find a 45 there and a 45 there. Those are common, and it is the least common one that shows up in that list. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, what it means is that in 45 minutes, the dog is going to bark and the computer is going to crash at the same time again. So at 5 o'clock, both things happen. And then 45 minutes from then, both things are going to happen again. So our answer is 45 minutes, right? No, you need to read it carefully. At what time will both happen again? So if it happened at 5 and it's going to happen 45 minutes from now again, what time? 5:45. That is our answer. All right, y'all, that's all I got for you. Thank you for sticking with it. Look forward to seeing you in class, talking more about LCM. Bye.